All right. So I just want to say thank you so much, Michael, for I know this is a spontaneous interview tonight. And so I loved how you jumped in. I've known you for a while now. You've helped me and I'm so grateful for that. You've talked to people that I needed you to talk to and I want to share that because in LifeWave, we're working LifeWave together and I know you didn't want to do it as much as I didn't want to do it, but here we are, right? But also at the same time, I want to let you know that Michael and I have done calls for each other and we don't financially gain from each other. And I think that's important to say because we're here for a reason because this technology works and it's helped both of us and we just want to pay it forward whatever that looks like. But it has been a pleasure and a blessing that I've gotten to know you just a little bit and hopefully a little bit more. But your story is really really impactful. Tell us what happened and the injury that you sustained and then go into, who shared this with you and just the process of it. And if I want to segue into like asking little questions in between, if that's okay, yeah.
Absolutely, Tina. Thank you for having me tonight. Welcome to all the guests that are here that this might be new to. My story with regard to LifeWave really started 7 years ago. And that's an eventful day when I had a logging accident and I broke my back. I spent 10 months in two different hospitals. And when I came out, I'm in the wheelchair that I'm in right now. If I could show you, I would, but it doesn't quite fit on the camera. The advantage is I never have to look for a chair. So you guys might go to a party and there's nowhere to sit down. I always have a seat no matter where I am. You got to look for the positives in everything in life. I in I made a decision as soon as I woke up. I was in a coma for a month. When I woke up out of the coma, I immediately set my mind to walking again. I thought it would happen in 3 months, but here it is 7 years later. It hasn't happened yet, but it is happening with LifeWave. In 2019, I had my first stem cell injection. It was a reputable doctor, reputable product, and I did get results. I could feel it within an hour. Those results lasted for about 3 months and then they kind of wore off. So in 2020, I got my second stem cell injection. That gave me even more results. And within 2 weeks, I was starting to move my legs. In 2 weeks, I was getting on a bicycle. That physical therapy gym, they had a hand operated bicycle where you strap your feet into the stirrups and then you use your hands to move your legs. And I would consciously think about pushing down my right foot. And when I made that conscious thought, I could feel the nerves rushing down my right leg into my right foot, into my right toes. And then when it got to the bottom, I would switch my thought, sorry, wrong hand, switch my thought and think about pushing down the other foot, the left foot.
Wow.
And when I did that, I could feel the nerves rushing down my left leg and all the way to my left foot. And so I was doing that for 3 days. Happiest day I'd the happiest time of my life since I broke my back. And that was 3 years after I broke my back. 3 days later, I broke my leg. I won't get into that story, but I broke my femur, the biggest bone in your body, and that I could physically feel the stem cells rushing from all parts of my body, rushing to the broken femur. I could physically feel it inside my body. Most bizarre, surreal feeling ever. Um, The next year, 2021, I had my third stem cell injection. And at this point, the FDA had changed the rules. So you could no longer get umbilical cord blood injections. You could only inject your own blood. So at the time, I was 57 years old. And I did a blood draw. They processed that, spun it down, and I injected my own exosomes back in. And with that, I did not get very much result using my 57-year-old stem cells. Let's fast forward to 2022. This is now 5 years after I broke my back. And my friend Eden Rain had been using LifeWave for a few months. I don't know exactly how long the first time she called me, but she called and offered this technology to me. And I said, "What's a little white patch?" And sorry, I don't have one handy, but
I've
Tina
got
already showed it to you.
right there.
Yeah. What's the little white patch? I'll put the two halves together. What's the little white patch going to do that a $10,000 stem cell injection couldn't do? So I told I told Eden, no, thank you, the first time she called me. Well, 9 months later, she called me again and said, "Michael, can I give you an update of what this has done for me?" I'm like, "Sure." This is now December of 2021. December of 21. And you might need to bleep this out later, but at that point, I was ready to end my life. I was in a very, very dark spot because of the physical pain. The level of physical pain that I've been dealing with for 7 years is so far off the charts that you guys can't even imagine what it is. And I deal with it every day. So I was ready. I was done. I didn't want to deal with it anymore. I said, "What the heck? I'll try the little white patch." So I joined in December of 2021. I got my shipment in January of 22. I got COVID on Christmas Day of 21. So just imagine having a broken back, living alone in a wheelchair with COVID. Doesn't get much worse than that. And I began using the patches so sorry, that's all backstory. That's all setup. So, Tina, I began using these patches in January of 22 because my nervous system is already compromised and I'm extremely tuned into my body and I'm very sensitive. I could not use all of the patches that were available, and I had to start very slowly, very, very slowly. 2 hours a day, 4 hours a day. I could not wear carnosine for about 3 months. I could not wear X39 for 8 months. Couldn't wear it. So finally, in August of 22, I began wearing X39. X39, Tina mentioned, is like the powerhouse. Um, it's the wrecking crew. It can get anything done. And it was so powerful that I had to take it off after 2 hours. If you do a little time warp from August of 22 to October of 24, I still cannot wear X39 for 12 hours. I can only wear it for about 8 hours max, and usually 4 to 6 hours. It's so powerful, and my body is rebuilding so much. So, how can I put this in words that might make more sense? There is so much repair work that needs to be done in my body that when the X39 stimulates the body to make stem cells, there's so much activity. It'd be like taking an army regiment down to rebuild your road and having 1,000 workers there all crammed together trying to rebuild your driveway. that's an analogy to what I feel inside my body when I wear X39.
Well, and I have a friend, Michael, as well. Like with that is with the nerves all sort of waking up, and we always think repair and magical and stuff, but there's this influx of activity. So maybe there's people on here that know where it's like when they put the patch on, then all of a sudden they're hurting even more. And what people don't know is how do you convince somebody, but that's a good thing, but let's just take a step back and let's just be gentle for a little bit. And I love that because you never gave up. You just adapted and pivoted. Um, so it's like, okay, I can't do that, so I'll just do it till I can't do it anymore. And so you progress to it. But I love how you said it. I think it was great. It's like everything the lights are off. There's nothing going on in certain areas of your body. The lights are off. There's no the electrical system, and then all of a sudden it just powers up and your body's going, oh my God. So it's a great analogy, but I love your story because you're showing that, repair doesn't always look wonderful. But carry on. I just wanted to sort of add that because now you're wearing it a little bit longer now. And what else is like, what is your regimen? Carry on.
That was a beautiful, beautiful interjection. Uh, um, I can't even wear X39 every day. If I wear it for 6 hours, then I'm kind of wiped out the following day. So right now I'm wearing X39 roughly 5 hours at a time for 3 days a week. Why is this significant? Because from August of 22 to October of 24, I have used less than three, can't really see my fingers, less than three sleeves of X39. There's 30 patches in a sleeve that's designed for 1 month. In 2.5 years, I've used less than 3 months worth of X39. And with that small number of patches applications over a 2.5 year period, I now have conscious control of muscles that it used to end at the middle of my back. I now have conscious control of muscles all the way down to my rectum. I can squeeze my anus together. I can do an enema. I can hold the water inside consciously for an hour. I we were trained in rehab to do what's called a pivot transfer, um, because uh, so basically my back injury was in the middle of my thoracic back at uh, T8. T7, T8, T9 were damaged in the logging accident. And my sensation stopped at T6, which is above the bottom of your shoulder blade. Your shoulder blade is at T8. So above the bottom of your shoulder blade. And I had no sensation from there all the way down to my toes. Nothing. I couldn't feel anything. Now I have physical sensation all the way down to my waist. I can feel, if you touch my skin, I can feel down to my waist. I have conscious control of muscles down to my rectum. Um, when I'm moving out of the chair, from the chair to the bed or the bed to the chair or in and out of a car, I used to have to lean my head and my shoulders one way and literally pivot your hips the other opposite direction like a teeter-totter. And that was the only way we could get or move our body to get out of a wheelchair. And now I don't do that anymore. I just lift up, I push up with my hands. And once I'm up on my arms, you can actually see this on the video. I can, well, you sort of see it.
Yeah,
I'm moving my hips back and forth, all with conscious control of muscles that I did not have 8 months ago. 8 months ago, I didn't have those muscles. That's come in the last 8 months.
that is so
And so with Tina's comment about persistence, once I started this, there was no going back. Because, for one reason, yes, it caused more pain for me specifically because I have a spinal cord injury and the nerves need to regenerate. And I'm sorry to say, unless Jesus gives me a miracle, it's painful, the process. And once you start it, caution to anyone else out there that's paralyzed. Once you start this, you better not stop. Just keep going.
And I do
Um,
want to add to that, Michael. So for everybody else, spinal cord, we're just being clear here is that for anybody else, don't be scared. If you're not in a wheelchair and you don't have a spinal cord, it's not painful like what Michael's saying. So don't be scared. I just wanted to share that what you're doing. And I have a dear friend who had a work accident, and I did put the patches on him, and he had to take them off because his body just fired up and we didn't know at that time. So I will be sending this to him as well to watch because I think he might want to know
the,
a little bit more about it now.
I want to add to that comment, Tina. I am everyone that I've given this technology to, everyone that I've shared this, every single person has gotten positive results. One woman um, broke her tooth in half. The tooth was literally broken in half, and she had half of a tooth in her mouth, and her cheek was swollen. It had happened 3 days earlier, and it was going to be another 4 days before she could get in an emergency appointment to a dentist. So she was waiting a week. And she was my caregiver, in-home caregiver that came to see me. I took a X39 and I put it right on her cheek. The pain was gone in 45 minutes.
Wow.
She had been in agony for 3 days and she had to wait another 4 days before she could see a dentist. I was blown away. Oh, I guess my takeaway, Tina, to add to your comment is that I put the patch on and it gives me more pain. Everyone else puts the patch on and they get pain relief. So I just have to look at the long game and say, I'm going to be walking next year and it's okay if it's a little painful now.
I love it, Michael. Thank you so much. And for this, I just want to say we don't treat, cure, diagnose. We're here as wellness advocates. And really, Michael, it's your body that's doing the amazing thing, and the technology supports and helps to wake that body up to do what it's made to do, rebuild and repair. Just kind of wakes it up for our body to act like it did when we were younger. So thank you so much. You're impacting and you're inspiring so many people. Go ahead.
And we don't make promises. I don't make promises. Everybody's body is different. It's not just this little white patch. 99% of it is right up here in your own thoughts and beliefs and emotions and intentions and what you want out of your life.
We
Remember,
have,
that's number one.
we have
Well,
to
Lord's number one, but that's number two.
And we have to feed and fuel our body so that the patches have that pathway of hydration and mineralization. As we always hear David talk about, it's improving our lifestyle too. If we're sitting on the couch eating a bag of chips and hoping that we're going to start feeling better, the patches have helped people, but for optimal, we have to take care and nourish and feed our body as well. So thank you so much, so much for sharing this, and you inspire me every day.
You see me rocking back and forth. I could not do this 9 months ago. It wasn't possible.
Yeah. So now
Impossible.
that is so amazing. And you know what? The brightness that I see in you from when I met you a few months ago, even like you can just see it. I think I saw you on calls. You were lying in bed because it was an effort to get out. And now I see you moving around a lot more on the calls. So I love it. And I have noticed that. But I love that you can just say, Do you know why I'm walking back and forth? And it's because you can. Because you can. So again, thank you so much, Michael, for jumping into this spot for your success story. And hi, Eden, you're the one who brought him to us. So thank you for your persistence. The first time was no. The second time was yeah, because you were looking for something.